What's up, guys? Today I'm gonna be building my dream licensed DBD chapter. I'm gonna be doing Killer and their power, Survivor, and both of their perks. Also, I'm not like super balanced person, so some of my perk ideas may not be the best, but I would like them. So when it comes to licensed chapters, I have a clear top 3 that I really want, even though I don't think we have a chance anymore. Pumpkinhead, The Grudge, and Black Christmas. But I'm gonna go with the Grudge for this one because she was on the most recent survey. I know a lot of people will say, oh, she's too similar to Onryo in spirit, just make her a legendary skin. And to those people I say, I don't care, this is my dream chapter. Also, I think the potential is good enough where she could have a unique power that plays so differently from either of them. So let's start off with the backstory of our newest killer, Kayako and Toshio. Some homes are built with wood and stone, others are built with hatred. Long before whispers spread of the cursed home in Narima, Kayako Saeki was simply a woman who loved too deeply. Quiet and reserved, she filled notebooks with secret confessions and dreams she would never dare speak aloud. Her life revolved around the people she cherished, her son Toshio, her family, and the hope that devotion alone could keep happiness alive. But love can become a prison. When her husband discovered the journals detailing her private thoughts and imagined affections for another man, jealousy consumed him. The home that had once echoed with ordinary life became a chamber of violence. In a frenzy beyond reason, he broke her body piece by piece, twisting her neck until her final breath escaped in a wet, broken gasp. Upstairs, Toshio met the same cruel fate, while their cat cried into an empty house until meeting its own demise. Their suffering should have ended there. Instead, something remained. One day before spreading her rage to another soul, a social worker sent to check on the house called out for refuge when seeing her come down the stairs. Something heard this plea, as the house slowly began to fill with fog, and Toshio ran to cling to her. Power. Mother's Bond. Mother's Bond comes with 3 separate abilities for her son Toshio. Kayako's son Toshio is always creeping around the map. Once he locks his eyes on you without you noticing for 30 seconds, not only will you receive a jump scare, but you'll be exposed for the next 30 seconds, and he will alert his mother to your location. Toshio can also be commanded to the generator with the most progress, highlighting it in yellow and triggering special skill checks. This comes with a 90-second cooldown. At the start of trial, Kayako's son Toshio is assigned 3 hiding spots, 1 locker, 1 dark corner, and 1 hex totem. When triggered, Toshio jump scares and leeches onto a survivor. This puts them into the injured state and downs already injured survivors. While Toshio is attached, they cannot interact with any pallets, windows, and suffer from broken and blindness. When in 15 meters of the hiding spot, a croak is heard. I think that really creates some awesome possibilities for the killers and the survivors. On the killer side, you could have sweet plays where you injure someone and then chase them into one of the hiding spots to get the down. And then on the survivor's end, it's like a whole nother mini game in the game of hot and cold where you don't want to be hot. Secondary power, Crawler. When in this mode, speed is boosted 2%, can crawl underneath pallets, and any physical contact results in an instant grab. If hooked while in crawl mode, an instant 5% will come off hook progression. 90-second cooldown. So for her powers, I think using her son and that terrifying crawl is the biggest no-brainers. Honestly, as far as creepy crawls go in cinematic history, she's probably the GOAT. And I think Toshio being her main weapon as a scout / slowdown is her strongest attribute. And also, I think we need a killer that completely counters the field of vision stuff survivors do, and it will force survivors to play with precision against her, where you can't just run straight into the killer when you lose a chase, because the auto aim will force a whiff 9 times out of 10. So I added that in. I don't think it's perfect because when in crawl mode, she could be easily bullied by survivors who just keep running into her to force saves and tunneling. And if you included the instant grab mechanic, I think it's a killer that you have to bring Lightborn basically every match or you just get completely bullied. But basically, I'd want her power to be her son and something that includes crawling, while also countering field of vision and lazy spins. Perk 1. Scourge Hook. Grip of Rage. At the start of the trial, 4 random hooks are changed into Scourge Hooks. Survivors unhook others 3%, 5%, 10% slower. This would be amazing for trap killers and compare well with perks like Monstrous Shrine and some other underused ones. But anyone who hates proxy camping would immediately run to Twitter to ask the devs to resign in shame. Also, she'd be unique where she could be the killer who can make hooks go fastest, which would help offer a new playstyle and strategy for killers and survivors. Perk 2. You'll never escape. Once all generators are completed, for the first 20, 40, 60 seconds, only one exegate is powered. This is essentially just an endgame version of Corrupt Intervention. In the same way, it just kind of takes away a portion of the map at the end. This would be like OP with no ed, but also would help the endgame be more of a game rather than people just waiting for other people to leave. Perk 3. Cursed Walls. Once Shack Pallet is dropped, survivors who dropped it suffer from incapacitated, exhausted, and blindness status effect for 30 seconds, and 1, 2, 3 random pallets on the map are removed. If they're gonna keep pallet density as bad as it is, we might as well get some perks that play with that, and we don't have anything like this perk off the top of my head. Eerie add-ons. Burn Cat. Gives Toshio 3 extra hiding spots. Bloody Diary. Cuts crawl mode's cooldown to 40 seconds. Now on to our survivor. I went back and forth on this, but I feel if Sheriff Michelle Gellar is coming to the game, it should be as our iconic character from I Know What You Did Last Summer, so we're going with Rika. Some people survive monsters, others carry them forever. There are moments that divide a life into 2 parts, before and after. For Rika, that moment began with a routine visit to an ordinary home. A social worker by profession, Rika believed every problem had a solution if someone was willing to listen. Families struggled, children became lost, loneliness could drive people to terrible places. Compassion, she believed, could always make a difference. The house on the quiet street seemed abandoned, yet something felt profoundly wrong. Dust laid undisturbed, silence hung unnaturally in the air, and every room carried the feeling that someone had only just left. Then she heard it, a low, impossible croak. From that moment onward, reality began to unravel. A pale boy appeared where no child should have been. Shadows moved without light, faces stared from impossible places, the walls seemed to breathe, and every attempt to escape only drew her deeper into the nightmare hidden within the house. When she saw a vengeful spirit crawl down the stairs towards her, she begged for rescue from anything in the world. Fog began to cover her as she got what she wished for. Perk 1. Incantation. Can't curse me. Once the incantation is completed, protects all survivors from blindness, deafness, and obliviousness. Perk 2. Sell the house. When only 3 generators remain, survivors not on death hook can sacrifice their remaining health and hook states for a permanent 10%, 15%, 20% speed boost to doing generators. So basically you trade and be on death hook and injured, but you would get a pretty huge boost here at the end of the game to close it out. It's a risk reward perk, and this is one that's like an actual solution to counter 3 gens rather than posting tweets about it and deleting Skull Merchant from the game. Perk 3. Never going back. Once unhooked, prevents survivors from being hooked on the same hook for the next 60, 90, and 110 seconds. This one is anti-tunnel and also a little bit of a meme perk, but it could actually be very good depending on the map and if you pair it with a boil over build. The map. The Cursed Home. Set in the suburbs of Tokyo, an abandoned home that has long been for sale but not sold. 80% of this map takes place inside this cursed home that seems far larger on the inside than it looks from the outside, creating an optical illusion that confuses survivors. In the backyard, a mess of overgrown grass and fog, only with a shack to run to for safety. And in the front of the house, all seems ordinary, other than the feeling that someone is watching you. Special interactions. The cursed home always spawns with 2 specific generators, one in the attic and one in the basement. The basement is so dark you can barely see in front of you, struggling to locate pallets and generators. Once the generator in the attic is complete, light bulbs turn on in the basement, making it clear as day for survivors. If completing the generator in the basement before the attic, a special badge will be rewarded to survivors at the end of the game. So yeah, this would be one of my dream DBD chapters, and I would instantly start to main Kayako. I think J-Horror just has a special place in my heart because it's what was in theaters when I was a kid, and I'm sure a lot of people around my age feel the same way about it. Also, in my opinion, Japan's one of the funnest places in the world to vacation at. The history and the culture, and just like feeling you're in a different world is so cool and an experience like nothing else. So I really believe the Grudge deserves its own chapter, even if I'm in the minority. Let me know below what your dream license chapter would be, and how you would set it up. And if people like this video, I'll drop my dream original chapter and some more licenses I really want. Alright, enjoy the rain.